Mondays.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Mom Mondays. We're switching it up a little bit and going monthly instead of posting weekly. So thank you for joining us on this journey, and we hope you still enjoy all of our lovely content. This month, we are going to be talking about something pretty exciting, travel. Summer is coming. We all want to get out there. We want to, see our family, go to those, summer nights across the country, just live it up. And I'm curious, Kim, how does travel work for you and your family? But we only traveled once with Rowan, and I feel like it is, we have to pack up the entire house in order to take him anywhere. And we want to travel more. And I'm just curious, do you have any tips, tricks that you could share with the community to maybe encourage us to explore and travel a little bit more?
Yeah, I'm happy to share what we've learned over the years. We have not really learned how to travel light. I have to say, like, we have trips where we're traveling with like two, strollers or wheelchairs. Plus, like, Colton used to sleep in like a special zip up bed. So that was in like a huge suitcase of its own. And then we've got special, cups for feeding and spoons for medicine and, applesauce packets to give the medicine in, plus making sure we have all the medications for the entire length of the trip, because there is nothing worse than getting to a location, realizing you're going to run out of medication mid-trip, and then trying to transfer prescriptions and find the local pharmacy. I do not recommend that. So making sure that you have everything heading in, we actually find is easier than trying to buy everything when you get to a place. So it may be that traveling light is not really in the cards for many families with SLC13A5 epilepsy. But I think travel is still totally feasible and definitely worth the effort. In terms of like the other logistics, there's obviously, road trip versus plane trip. We find both options to be equally challenging. So we don't choose a place necessarily based on whether we have to fly there or whether we can drive there, but we do try to avoid connecting flights. So we, often we'll pick a place where it's just one plane ride away. And we try with, drives to make sure, like for us, a trip that is just purely a road trip is not particularly easy on, especially Tessa and Colton, who have SLC13A5 epilepsy. In terms of like where we choose to stay, for us, it's often easier to rent like an Airbnb as opposed to staying in a hotel room. First of all, our family would need several hotel rooms, and it kind of divides us up. We find that hotels, even if they say you have adjoining rooms, they can't actually do that every time. And so for us, it's been a little more reliable to rent a house. It also allows us to have like a washer and dryer because we go through more laundry than most, and a kitchen because we can't necessarily find all the foods that Tessa and Colton will eat at a restaurant or, just on the go. So having a refrigerator and a place to feed them is really helpful. In terms of like how long or the timing of travel, I've heard different families have all different theories. Like some families like to travel at night in hopes that their kids will sleep. Some like to leave super early in the morning, or, for us, we actually try to just stay on our regular schedule. So we try to have, if it's a plane, we try to have it be like mid-morning or something so that we're not waking up extra super early. And we're just kind of using that travel as our activity for the day. We have found that staying in our routine and on schedule has resulted in like the least seizures and the least stress, and just kind of keeping everyone moving forward how they're used to following their schedule or routine for the day. But I think that can be individual to each family too. So did I forget anything? I covered quite a few
I
topics.
think so. I guess my follow-up question would be, what are the kids like when they travel? Do they enjoy it? And because obviously you keep them in their routine, but they're in a new space. So how do they handle that?
Yeah, I think my kids like traveling. I think it's fun to have a change of scenery. We have some trips that are more successful than others, obviously. I think that would be true even if we didn't have kids with disabilities. But I think in general, going to a warm place as opposed to a cold place is easier for us. Skiing trips can be challenging because I worry that like Tessa and Colton can't tell me if their fingers are getting really cold, or, they like sledding, but we can really only stay outside for like a short amount of time before I start to just worry about the elements and their comfort levels. So I think I tend towards warmer places for vacations with them. And just as people, they like being in the water and they like the beach and they like things like that. So those types of trips are also just a good fit for their personalities. We don't do like long walking trips, or if we do, we make sure that we do have a stroller with us. So if we're going to be like going through a lot of museums or an activity that is both like physically taxing and maybe not of huge interest level to them, then I make sure that we have a stroller or a way to help them get around that location.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think my
And then
main
there's like Disneyland. Like there are some really fun, like just kid places. Like those are good.
Sure. And
Legoland is there.
Disneyland and Disney World are very accessible, which I'm starting to learn as, we've got a 3-year-old and we have friends with kids around the same age, and they're talking about going to Disney World, doing that big road trip. It's like a huge thing to travel from Southern Ontario down to Florida. It's like 24-hour driving, and people do that all of the time.
Amazing.
So we're looking into it more, and we're, like surprised at how accessible it is. So
Yeah,
um,
we drove to Disneyland pretty recently with the kids and had a
yeah.
great time.
Oh,
And it is there are definite Disney definitely gets it, right? Like they make it as easy as possible in terms of passes and allowing kids to access all the rides, but also to understand that it can be harder for them to wait in line or to not have like a stroller or a wheelchair with them. So yeah, they are very accommodating. Highly recommend that. The price tag is still there. Disneyland is always expensive, but a great place to go.
this is where we tell you that Disney has sponsored
Yeah,
this.
totally.
No,
I
I'm
wish.
kidding. I'm kidding. Well, great. So what I've learned is we should travel. It's super fun, and unfortunately, the load probably won't be lighter. But bring everything you need for your kids, and it's better than just going on the fly. Great. I mean, I don't think I'm going to be deterred from traveling anytime soon. Maybe plane travel, but but I mean, we love exploring the world, and it's something we want to do with Rowan. So thank you so much for sharing, and I'm sure other families in the community have learned a little bit from this as well. And maybe we'll see everybody in Disney one day. But yeah, thank you all for joining on another episode of Mom Mondays.
Thanks.
Mondays.